they now have that on the record. But let's see how we pit up, how match up, so I should say, against the Rwandans.
Yeah, they say that when a carpenter hits his nail, he says that it's his style. So I'm going to say that the time they beat us, we didn't necessarily need that game. We'd already qualified.
It was a record, though.
This is the news this week. You're welcome. Spectrum Television will beam in live from the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's bring you a recap of major stories within the week. President Tinubu commences annual leave, departs Abuja for Europe. Governor Moino says hospitality facilities belonging to state government would no longer be run at a loss. Plus, United Kingdom Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner resigns over tax error. We'll bring you more details in a moment. Welcome and thanks for joining us. First in the news within the week, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday commenced a 10-day vacation, marking the start of his 2025 annual leave. A statement signed by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Nanuga, revealed that the president will spend his 10-working-day vacation between France and the United Kingdom before returning to Nigeria. Recall that Tinubu had just returned to Nigeria last week after a 2-week official trip to Japan and Brazil. The president left Abuja on Friday, August 15, 2025, and stopped over at Dubai, United Arab Emirates, before proceeding to Japan. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday expressed his administration's readiness to work with the National Assembly leadership to dismantle political and bureaucratic bottlenecks stalling the operationalization of state police. Speaking in Abuja during a meeting with members of the Northeast Governors Forum led by Borno State Governor Professor Zulum, the president said the time had come for a clear collective path towards community-based policing to reflect the peculiar needs of different regions. Tinubu expressed that while political concerns will always surface around the issue, it must not be allowed to derail urgent security reforms, stating that his government is committed to ensuring that the proposed structure would be insulated from partisanship and designed purely to strengthen safety across communities. The president also vowed not to allow partisan politics or early campaign distractions to shift his focus from national priorities, urging the governors to sustain their commitment to development and security while assuring them of continued federal support. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu is expected to commission a newly completed 6,000 metric ton lithium processing plant in Nasarawa State. Speaking to newsmen after a closed-door meeting with the president in Abuja, Governor Abdullahi Sule explained that the facility, built by a Chinese investor, has just been completed and is now ready for official unveiling. The governor recalled that in 2024, a 3,000 metric ton lithium processing plant was commissioned in Nasarawa local government area, a project that attracted additional investors after confirming the state's high-quality lithium deposits. Sule described the project as a strategic step in Nigeria's drive to industrialize its solid mineral sector, reduce raw mineral export, and create local value chains, noting that with the growing global demand, the Nasarawa project is expected to boost Nigeria's position in the international market while creating jobs and stimulating economic growth in the state. Away from that, the federal government has committed more than 90 billion naira to the education and welfare of more than 400,000 students across Nigeria's tertiary institutions. This was disclosed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in a statement issued in Abuja. It was disclosed during a courtesy visit from a platform of State Commissioners of Information led by the Borno State Commissioner of Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, that the President's initiative through the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, has supported the students to continue their education without financial difficulties. The fund was introduced by President Bola Tinubu as part of efforts to expand access to higher education and reduce the burden of tuition and living expenses on students and their families. Since its rollout, the scheme has attracted attention as one of the administration's flagship interventions in education. It provides direct financial assistance to students to prevent disruptions in their studies due to economic hardship. Meanwhile, the federal government within the week assured equitable development and prosperity for all Nigerians, irrespective of political affiliation, regional orientation, tribal or religious backgrounds. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, gave the assurance when the Commissioners of Information from the state paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. While noting that they belong to different political parties, the minister said that the most important thing is to ensure that Nigeria is doing great in different spheres of human endeavors. Idris further stated that if the Commissioners of Health, Agriculture and other sectors could usually come together with their counterparts at the federal level and discuss the way forward, things would go well for the country. In the meantime, the federal government on Thursday announced that Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) generated 3.7 trillion naira in the first half of 2025, a revenue performance that exceeded budgetary expectations and outpaced last year's results. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, who disclosed this during the 62nd meeting of the NCS board in Abuja, stated that the cash represents a 12.5% increase above budget projections and 25% higher than collections recorded in the same period of 2024. According to the minister, the performance CS is commendable. However, he cautioned that deeper reforms would be needed to achieve the administration's ambitious revenue targets. He further explained that the National Single Window Initiative, a digital trade platform scheduled for full rollout in 2026, is central to the administration's reforms designed to streamline import and export processes. He noted that the platform will reduce cost, eliminate unnecessary delays, and strengthen competitiveness. Elsewhere, the federal government on Friday mourned the victims of the tragic boat accident in Bogu local government area of Niger State, which reportedly claimed the lives of 30 people. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, extended the government's condolences to the families of the victims, the government and the people of Niger State. The minister commended the Niger State government through the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, for its swift rescue operation, which ensured that all passengers of the ill-fated boat were accounted for. According to the minister, the federal government has directed the National Orientation Agency, NOA, to mount a massive nationwide sensitization campaign to raise public awareness on safety measures when using inland waterways. Meanwhile, the federal government within the week announced a 1.85 billion naira allocation to fund the education and rehabilitation of the Chibok schoolgirls reportedly abducted by Boko Haram in 2014. The Ministry of Education said in a statement that the cash is part of the Chibok Girls Intervention Program and will cover tuition, accommodation, vocational training, psychosocial support, and other related services for the rescued girls through 2027. The ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations, Boriwo Folashade announced this in a statement. Folashade said the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, said the funding falls under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and reflects the administration's commitment to safeguarding the education and future of Nigerian children. It stressed that under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, the federal government is ensuring that the rescued 108 girls entrusted to the care of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs continue to receive comprehensive rehabilitation and academic support. In a separate development, the House of Representatives Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu has successfully brokered a resolution through his intervention, bringing an end to the standoff between the federal government and indigenous contractors. This came after the contractors owed for months staged a protest in Abuja. Following his appointment as chairman of the House Special Committee on Budget Implementation by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, Kalu convened an expanded meeting with the contractors, numbering over 80 across the country, with the leadership of an open dialogue on the issue. In attendance were the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, Accountant General of the Federation, Shamasuddin Ogunjimi, and other top government officials. Speaking at the end of the meeting, the Deputy Speaker said that a mutually beneficial agreement was reached, expressing his gratitude to the Speaker of the House and his colleagues for entrusting him with the responsibility. On to electoral matters now. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, within the week confirmed that the number of associations seeking registration as political parties has risen to 171 following the submission of 19 additional letters of intent. In a statement, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, said the updated list has been published on the Commission's website and other official platforms. He added that a review committee set up by the Commission had completed its assessment of the applications and submitted recommendations for final consideration. The Commission urged applicants to be patient and avoid practices that could delay their approval. Back here on the home front, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino within the week said hospitality facilities belonging to the state government would no longer be run at a loss under his administration. Governor Moino gave the assurance while fielding questions from Government House correspondents shortly after his inspection tour of the ongoing renovation of facilities at the Ibom Hotel and Golf Resort. The governor, who said the state has numerous hospitality facilities, including the Ibom Hotel and Golf Resort, the 4 Points by Sheraton in Ikorekbene, the ongoing Arise Resort, and facilities in Lagos and Abuja, insisted that they must be strategically managed as profit-making ventures. To ensure that the state hospitality facilities are delivering efficiently and profitably, the governor, who is a fellow of the Nigerian Hotel and Catering Institute, NHCI, said government would put in place a strategic hospitality management group to properly develop a state brand. Governor Eno therefore called on indigenous professional hoteliers, both at home and in the diaspora, to look inward and be part of the Akwa Ibom hospitality brand. The governor emphasized that experienced indigenous hoteliers who have made their marks in the industry will be given a chance to showcase their proficiency in the running of the hotel. Government House correspondent General reports that the governor, who explained that he came to see the prototype rooms to ensure its readiness for usage come December as expected, disclosed that the ongoing upgrade of facilities in the hotel will be done in phases to meet up its total overhaul.
We're just coming to see the mock-up room. There's always a mock-up room that you see, but that we've made our suggestions. The beautiful thing is that the contractor is on site. Once we sort this out, I'm told we should be able to deliver the first 40 rooms in October. So we should start using it in December, preparatory for Christmas, before we see how to shut down. We are doing it in phases. And you also know that this facility has been there in the last couple of years, and so there was a complete overhaul. But what's more important to me is how this hotel runs after the overhaul. We will never run at a loss again. That is the most important thing. We can put so much money into facilities like this, and they keep reporting losses because we want an international brand. We can be our own brand. And I'm asking the management to ensure that we have a group management in place for our hospitality assets in the state so that we can develop our brand. Ibom Air was no brand 5-6 years ago, but today it's a brand to be reckoned with. You can create your brand. We all have our identity. Akwa Ibom has an identity in hospitality already. It's for us to develop that. And so I've told the leaders that, honestly, we need to cut to the cheese. I will not put the amount of money I'm putting in here, and I'm told this facility will run at a loss. And we're not giving it out to any contract management. We will develop our brand, and I'm prepared to bring all sons and daughters of Akwa Ibom and people outside Akwa Ibom who have the expertise to come and run this place. Fortunately, hospitality is my field, and nobody can convince me that you run at a loss in the hospitality business. Nobody can tell me that. Something is wrong, and we are determined to address that.
Still on the home front, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has said the annual state anniversary Thanksgiving service will hold on Sunday, September the 21st, 2025 at the International Christian Worship Center. The governor made this known at the Government House monthly covenant service held at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Uyo. He said the Thanksgiving service is expedient given the countless blessings of God upon the state since its creation. He said there were numerous projects at different stages of completion, adding that the state under his leadership will continue to do its best to further on the development trajectory. The governor emphasized on the need for everyone to get to work as a panacea to the socio-economic challenges, saying that Akwa Ibom State was not operating on a communist philosophy and no form of grant or palliative can be sustainable. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino within the week reaffirmed his commitment to maintaining a people-centric governance structure devoid of godfatherism. Governor, who stated this while fielding questions from Government House correspondents, said every Akwa Ibom citizen has equal access to the government portal for grants provided by his administration. The governor further said that the administration's empowerment scheme for 2026, with a budget of 31 billion naira, would accommodate interested persons, including members of support groups, and cover different categories of grants, including the Farmers Grant, Traders Grant, SMEs Grant, and Skills Acquisition Grant. According to him, the idea is to stimulate the local economy, hence the reason he is putting 1 billion naira in the budget for each local government area in the 2026 appropriation bill. The governor disclosed that when the time comes, the portal will be opened and each local government will access the 1 billion naira on an individual basis, stressing that the grants will be given to people based on their local government of origin and not where their businesses are located. He explained that before the grants are released to the beneficiaries, they have to be enrolled at the Ibom Leadership and Entrepreneurial Development Center, ILEDC, for a refresher course on their chosen area of business, reiterating that government will validate all locations of the businesses before release of funds. He stressed that government will not give money to any group leader in order to ensure proper accountability and transparency. He explained that support groups are social groups that volunteer to support a candidate whom they believe would provide good services, ensure accountability and transparency. According to the governor, he was elected to cater for the entire people of Akwa Ibom State, not individual groups, adding that inasmuch as he truly appreciates the groups for their support, he is committed to serving the generality of Akwa Ibom people. Government House correspondent Jane Noah reports that the state leader further stressed that no particular group or groups will have an exclusive right to the programs, as the programs are for every Akwa Ibom indigen, irrespective of their social status. Still in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Pastor Moino within the week approved the dissolution of Ethical and Attitudinal Reorientation Commission with immediate effect. A release signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Enobonwa, says the government expressed its appreciation to the chairman and members of the commission and wished them success in their future endeavors. According to the chairman, there has been the direction to hand over to the Director of Administration and Supplies in the commission before disengagement. Meanwhile, in line with the agricultural revolution component of the Arise agenda, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has announced plans to kickstart an unprecedented oil palm tree planting revolution in the state. Governor Eno announced this while addressing the convention victory service at the All Nations Christian Ministry International ECAT to conclude the 21st anniversary and discovery convention of the church. He said the State Committee on Food Security has recommended a template which involves the distribution of improved seedlings, deployment of extension officers in the planting, establishment of oil palm board, and the off-taking of processed oil from different producers. The governor, who had served as the Executive Director of Agriculture Investment at the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation, AGICOP, said the initiative is a way of pooling money in the hands of the citizenry, as the improved seedlings has high yield capacity and fruits within 2 years. He said Akwa Ibom has declined from number 1 to number 4 in oil palm production and needs to take back its pride of place. Governor urged the youths to take advantage of the different job opportunities in the state and to desist from complaining about lack of jobs. He used the opportunity to clear the air on the empowerment for members of support groups in the state, stressing that the monies in the recently published list of support groups and beneficiaries for the different empowerment packages were not given to group heads or any member of the groups to share, but to individuals who applied through the Arise portal and had registered members of the support groups, stressing that his administration would continue to give business grants. He also used the opportunity to address plans for a memorial service in honor of the departed State First Lady, Pastor Patience Umoino, slated for September 26, 2025. Government House correspondent Genoa reports that the governor, who is also the under-shepherd of All Nations Christian Ministry International, expressed gratitude to God for sustaining the ministry for the past 21 years and appreciated everyone for partaking in the convention activities and the victory service. Still to come in the news. Nigeria-China deepen cooperation in marine sector. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. It's still the news within the week. In Africa, Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa within the week met Pope Leo XIV at the Apostolic Palace in the Vatican. According to reports, the discussions in the Secretariat of State focused on the positive relations between the Holy See and Zimbabwe. The conversations covered various aspects of Zimbabwe's political and economic situation, particularly the collaboration with the local church in fields such as healthcare, education, and the environment. Additionally, the parties exchanged views on regional issues, underscoring the importance of promoting multilateralism, dialogue and cooperation among nations. Following the meeting with the Pope, Mnangagwa also met with Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State, as well as Monsignor Paul Richard, Secretary for Relations with States and International Organizations. Still in Africa, the president of Ghana within the week said that he fired the West African country's Chief Justice after an investigation found her guilty of alleged abuse of office. Gertrude Araba Esaba Tokuno, 61, the third woman to head Ghana's High Court, was suspended from post which she assumed in 2023 after several complaints were lodged against her. President John Mahama established a 5-member commission led by another Supreme Court judge to investigate the complaints, which included allegations of falsifying judicial records and misusing public funds. The commission found that the grounds for the alleged acts had been established and recommended her removal from office. However, it was not immediately cleared whether Tokuno would face any criminal charges. Meanwhile, a Zambian court on Friday sentenced former Foreign Minister Joseph Malanji to 4 years in prison with hard labor for corruption. Malanji, who served under former President Edgar Lungu from 2018 to 2021, was arrested in late 2021 for allegedly using embezzled state funds to acquire property, including 2 Bell 420 helicopters. The conviction marked a rare victory for state prosecutors in the southern African country, ranked among the world's most corrupt by Transparency International's 2024 Perception Index. Yapa, a former secretary to the Treasury, was accused of facilitating the transfer of more than $8 million to Zambia's mission in Turkey without justifying the expense. And on the foreign scene, Britain's Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner resigned on Friday after an investigation found she breached the ministerial code by underpaying on the property tax in a major blow to Prime Minister Keir Starmer's embattled Labour government. Rayner, figurehead among the party's left-wing base, had earlier this week admitted not paying enough on the flat purchase and referred herself to the government's independent ethics advisor. In a letter to Starmer, ethics chief Laurie Magnus wrote that Rayner had failed to heed the caution of legal advice she had received and had therefore breached the ministerial code. Still on the foreign scene, Guyanese President Efran Ali, within the week, claimed a second 5-year term in office, even as official final results from Monday's general elections were yet to be published. Ali's People's Progressive Party, PPP, secured at least 242,000 votes in the poll, claiming majorities in 8 of the 10 districts in the South American country. The new political party, founded just 3 months ago, We Invest in Nationhood WIN, came in second with 109,000 votes. Ali, 45, campaigned on a pledge to use the country's vast oil reserves discovered in 2019 to improve infrastructure and reduce poverty while navigating territorial tension with neighbor Venezuela. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump is changing the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. The White House announced Thursday, insisting the rebrand will project a more powerful image. According to a White House document, while the department's official name is set in law, Trump in an executive order, is authorizing use of the new label as a secondary title by his administration. Defense officials are permitted to use secondary titles such as Secretary of War in official correspondence, public communications, ceremonial context, and non-statutory documents within the executive branch. Still on the foreign scene, the Trump administration will end temporary protected status TPS for more than 256,000 Venezuelans, clearing the way for deportations. The designation first granted under President Joe Biden in 2021 and expanded in 2023, gave eligible migrants work permits and protection from removal. Pending applications, 3,728 new and more than 102,000 renewals will be cancelled. The move also follows a Supreme Court ruling allowing DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to strip TPS despite earlier legal challenges. Trump had already terminated Biden's 2023 TPS order in April, affecting 348,000 Venezuelans. The decision also came a day after Trump announced a U.S. strike on a drug vessel from Venezuela, killing 11 suspected Shren Aragua members. On our business news, the presidency within the week said that Nigeria is firmly on track to meet its annual non-oil revenue target. A statement titled Nigeria's Non-Oil Revenues Power Strongest Fiscal Performance in Recent History, and signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga, cited new figures showing a sharp rise in collections driven by fiscal reforms, tax compliance, and digitized revenue systems. According to data released for January to August 2025, non-oil revenues rose to 20.59 trillion naira, up 40.5% from the 14.6 trillion naira recorded during the same period in 2024. The presidency said this represents the strongest fiscal performance in Nigeria's recent history. He credited the increase to structural reforms, including improved enforcement, customs automation, and digital tax filings, adding that the task ahead is to ensure these gains are felt in better schools, hospitals, roads, and jobs. Still in business, the federal government on Wednesday directed ministries, departments, and agencies to exclude consultants, corps members, and other non-permanent workers from their personnel payroll in the 2026 budget. The directive was contained in the 2026 Personnel Cost Budget Call circular issued by the Budget Office of the Federation. The circular was signed by the Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, and addressed to ministers, service chiefs, permanent secretaries, and heads of parastatals. According to the circular, only legitimate employees of the federal government are to be reflected in the personnel cost budget. Meanwhile, Nigeria and China have pledged to deepen cooperation in the marine and blue economy sector, focusing on boosting port development and opening new markets for Nigerian aquaculture export. This commitment was made during a meeting between the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, and the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Yu Donghai, at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja. Oyetola highlighted Nigeria's vast maritime endowment, including its 853 kilometers of coastline along the Atlantic Ocean and over 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways. He emphasized that Nigeria's maritime domain holds immense potential for shipping, port operations, fisheries, renewable ocean energy, marine tourism, and coastal infrastructure development. Still on business matters, the federal government on Thursday said that more mining licenses will be revoked as part of ongoing efforts to sanitize the solid minerals sector and protect investors from fraudsters. The Director General of the Mining Cadastre Office, an agency of the federal government, Obadiah Nkom, disclosed this during a live conversation on X. According to him, the cleanup exercise, which covers expired, speculative, and inactive titles, is necessary to make room for genuine investors and ensure compliance with the law. NCOM disclosed that the agency had identified about 4,709 licenses, including 1,400 expired titles, 2,338 refused applications, and 971 notifications of grants where applicants failed to pay, leading to an outright revocation by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake. To come in the news. Super Eagles people want that to keep slim World Cup qualification hopes alive. Stay tuned for details in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned, and now we conclude the news within the week. In health, the Bauchi state government within the week released 300 million naira to the Child Nutrition Fund managed by UNICEF as part of efforts to eradicate malnutrition among children in the state. The chief of UNICEF's Bauchi field office, Nusat Rafik, disclosed this during an interaction with journalists. She explained that UNICEF would also provide a matching grant of 300 million naira, bringing the total intervention fund to 600 million naira. According to her, the fund release followed the familiarization visit of the new UNICEF country representative Wafa Said to the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed. Still in health, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria PSN Lagos State branch within the week blamed the federal government and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control for the alarming surge in drug prices across the country, describing government interventions as ineffective and poorly implemented. The state chairman of the society, Oyekunle Babayemi, in a statement made available to newsmen, said President Tinubu's executive order designed to crush drug prices has failed completely and is now worsening the pharmaceutical crisis in the country. He specifically criticized NAFDAC for imposing what he described as exploitative and unjust fees on drug importers and manufacturers, which according to him are directly responsible for the spike in prices. The PSN chairman argued that no meaningful reform in drug distribution and pricing can be achieved under the current health leadership structure. To sports news now, where a lone strike from Wolves forward Tolu Orokodare was all the Super Eagles needed on Saturday to see a resilient Rwanda in a crucial 2026 World Cup qualifier, keeping Nigeria's slim hopes of reaching the competition alive. Orokodare's acrobatic effort from the turf in the 51st minute earned Nigeria their second victory in the qualification series, helping them leapfrog the visitors to second position, 6 points adrift of Group C leader South Africa, who they face on Tuesday. Nigeria came to the game on the back of a poor start to the qualification race, needing victory over the Amavubis to revive their campaign. They had drawn their first 4 matches until Eric Schiller's appointment in January. The Malian was on course to pick all 6 points in his first 2 qualification matches, but a late equalizer at home to Zimbabwe meant Nigeria only got 4 points. Expectedly against Rwanda, the Super Eagles dominated play at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium but struggled to convert their chances. Still in sports, England striker Alessia Russo on Thursday signed a new long-term contract at Arsenal. The 26-year-old scored 36 goals in 72 games since joining from Manchester United in 2023. Russo helped Arsenal win the Champions League in May and scored for England in the Euro 2025 final in July as they successfully defended their title. She scored 12 goals in 21 Women's Super League games last season, sharing the Golden Boot with Manchester City striker Khadija Shaw. Meanwhile, London City Lionesses have made France international Grace Guillaume the most expensive women's footballer in history by paying £1.4 million to sign her from Paris Saint-Germain. The fee paid by the Women's Super League newcomers beats the £1.1 million Orlando Pride paid Tigres Unal to sign Mexico winger Elizabeth Ovel last month. Guillaume, 28, is London City's 16th permanent signing of a busy summer, funded by wealthy American owner Michel Kang. Capped 103 times by France, Guillaume has scored 22 goals for her country and played in 2 World Cups, 2 European Championships and the 2024 Olympics. On our entertainment news, Nollywood veteran Joke Silva within the week expressed her grief over the passing of her brother John Olabiyi Silva. Joke on her Instagram page confirmed the demise of her brother, who passed away on the 29th of August. John Olabiyi Silva died at the age of 72. To bring the news within the week to a wrap, May Edochie, the estranged wife of Nollywood actor Yul Edochie, has taken legal action against Yinka Tesan, the former lover of Yul's elder brother Link Edochie, accusing her of cyberbullying, cyber-stalking and defamation. In a letter issued by her legal representatives, Grey Law Partners, may allege that Yinka had repeatedly made damaging posts about her on social media. According to the notice, these posts not only spread false information, but also amounted to calculated attempts to ridicule her, tarnish her reputation, and place her safety at risk through malicious threats and unfounded claims. The letter further stated that Yinka's alleged actions incited third parties to amplify the defamatory content, worsening the emotional and reputational damage May has suffered. Through her lawyers, May is demanding that Yinka immediately stops publishing harmful content about her, withdraw all previous defamatory posts, issue a public apology, and release retractions across all platforms where the claims were circulated. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. This has been Spectrum News Within the Week. My name is Uyaya Mem. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.